No political movement or political party can be run without funding, and there are also questions regarding the funding of Tommy Robinson, who had been greeted by his followers in 2018. Uh, these followers ran into thousands, like possibly 2,000, but recently he staged a massive rally in London with police estimates suggesting that more than 110,000 people attended that rally. There are some people who believe that Tommy Robinson is being funded by right wing owners of the tech companies. One of that personalities is Robert Shillman. So, Robert Shillman, Guardian has done a wonderful report on that, claiming that he's not only funding Tommy Robinson, or his money has not been extended to Tommy Robinson, but other right wing people. So Shilman, who calls himself Dr. Bob, according to The Observer, citing his PhD from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, is said to be a key figure in the transatlantic counter-jihad movement. He has invested in about 20 fellowships, working with Rebel News and uh, right-wing think tank, where the aim is to promote freedom and to expose the lies of the radical left, the Islamist movement, and their allies in the media. So Shillman is the one who is also believed to be supporting Tommy Robinson, and Rebel News, where Tommy Robinson is believed to have been working or have worked in the past. It is also funded by Shillman. Shillman fellows at Rebel News included Kat Hopkins, the former reality TV star who made a documentary on the mass slaughter of South Africa's whites in September 2018. This is something that was repeated. This conspiracy theory was also repeated by other people like Donald Trump and to some extent Elon Musk as well. The idea of a white genocide in South Africa based on attacks on farmers has been repeatedly debunked. Soon after, Rebel News brought in a new Shillman fellow, Laura Loomer, who is now a powerful conspiracy theorist with such proximity to Trump that she is referred to as the president's de facto national security advisor. This is what the Observer has written. Shilman, a former board member of Friends of the Israeli Defense Forces, hosts a pro Israel podcast and also funds fellowship through the DHFC think tank. Then it talks about its founder um, who was anti Muslim ideologue, described as the intellectual godfather of the Trump administration in an obituary when he died in April this year. Another DHFC Shillman Fellow was Raheem Kassam, a former UK IP advisor, UK Independent Party advisor, who set up the UK arm of Bradbury News, where Steve Bannon was chair. And Bannon spoke at Robinson's rally that was recently held, once reportedly called him the backbone of this country. At about the same time Shillman's money was flowing to Robinson, Hopkins, and Loomer, he paid more than 200,000 towards the legal fees of Dutch far-right politician Cat Wilders in his successful defense against allegations of hate speech directed at Muslims and Moroccans. Wilders spoke at two Free Tommy rallies in 2018, and Robinson visited him in the Netherlands. This is what Observer has written. Shilman also championed Kirk funding speaking tours of the US and backing his non-profit Turning Point USA. Its British offshoot Turning Point UK held a vigil in London on Friday after Kirk was shot dead while speaking at a university in Utah. Robinson, whose his real name, ended his fellowship shortly before Rebel News took on Hopkins, another leading light of Britain's right wing, who also spoke at the rally. The DHFC also promoted far-right US commentator Candace Owens, who is married to former Turning Point UK chair George Farmer. Owens, who has 7 million followers on X, received the Annie Taylor Award for courage from the DHFC for opposing political correctness before it cut ties with her for suggesting Israel was committing genocide in Gaza. So, in addition to that, the Middle East Forum, which is a right wing think tank that promotes US interests in the region, paid for the stage outside the Old Bailey in 2019. Again, that's for Tommy Robinson and sent staff to support Tommy Robinson. The MEF and the DHFC also invited Robinson to speak in the US in 2018, but he was denied a visa. More recently, Robinson, who claims he is penniless, is said to have received funds for legal fees from Elon Musk and Tristan Tate, the brother of the toxic masculinity influencer Andrew Tate, though Musk has never confirmed the payments. This is what the Observer has written. Musk, who revived Robinson's social media fortunes by reversing a Twitter ban when he bought the platform in 2022 and renamed it X, has earned millions of dollars by reinstating and promoting polemicists such as Robinson, according to the US Center for Countering Digital Hate, a non-profit promoting a non-profit NGO promoting online safety. So those who are wondering as to why Elon Musk supports this hero of far right, might be able to understand that what is the stake. Robinson, who has 1.5 million followers on X, still regularly features on Rebel News with its editor-in-chief, the self-styled rebel commanders Ezra Levant, who runs online fundraisers for Robinson, the former leader of the English Defence League. Joe Mulhall, research director at the anti-fascism organization Hope Not Hate, who tracks for far-right groups, said Ezra Levant was the one who turned around and first professionalized Robinson's center and paid for him to be able to do that, but also made clear that there was no opportunity that should be lost in terms of making money. The Observer further wrote, so rebel media was really fundamental to that, and the Tommy Robinson, who calls himself a journalist, did not exist before rebel media. Speaking about the broader cohort of influencers funded by Shillman and supported by the right-wing think tanks, well, added the long tail of that scene, I think, is its huge influence on politics, even in the White House. And then Observer also tried to contact Shillman and Robinson and other people, but they did not respond. So it's an interesting report if somebody wants to understand as to who is supporting far-right elements, not only in the UK, but other parts of Europe and the United States, then they must read this book. This naturally goes some way in highlighting the conflict of interest, and it might provide answer to the curious minds who might be wondering as to why billionaires are supporting these far right. It's very interesting that the leaders of these far right groups or ardent supporters of these far right groups or conservative elements, they all happen to be rich white guys in many cases.